with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bowden Francis.
He's been one of the best starters in baseball.
Strike three, making a dozen for Bowden Francis.
He is aggressive with his stuff. He believes in his stuff.
Fastball, got him looking, strike three.
Second time in the last 4 starts, he takes a no-hit bid into the 9th inning.
I got to keep working and stay hungry.
You know, you can't make a louder statement about Francis has made the last month or so.
No question.
On a chilly Monday night in Toronto, the Blue Jays welcomed the Washington Nationals to town, and Bowden Francis was a late-season revelation for this team. A year ago, he'll make his first start up against Calgary's own Michael Soroka, now a starter with the Nationals. To call this one, we take you up to the broadcast booth and welcome Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez.
Jamie, thank you. Yeah, a little interleague action here this week with the Nationals in town. And as Jamie mentioned, it's a very fun pitching matchup. Bowden Francis so good the last 2 months of last year. This is season debut.
Yeah, Dan, Bowden Francis was the American League Pitcher of the Month in the month of August, and he had a great finish to his season. He actually started in a rotation, made 2 starts in a rotation, then he pitched out of the bullpen. But look at his numbers over his last 8 starts. A 133 earned run average. He had so much success because he has the ability to throw strikes in every area of the strike zone with all 3 of his pitches. That's a tough assignment for hitters to square up Bowden Francis. He'll be opposed by 27-year-old Michael Soroka. And Michael Soroka, as Jamie mentioned, from Calgary, he was drafted in the first round out of Bishop Carroll High School in Calgary by the Atlanta Braves. And he was second in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2019 behind Pete Alonso of the Mets. He was an all-star that season, but since then he's pitched a total of just 125 2/3 innings because of injuries. He's had a torn Achilles twice in his career. Last year he had a terrible start to his season, but finished up very strong pitching out of the bullpen, and now he gets another chance to be the starter, and that's what he is. He's a starting pitcher. Just keep your fingers crossed that Michael Soroka can stay healthy all year.
This one should be fun. A very interesting pitching matchup, and the Blue Jays trying to start this series on a winning note, coming off a win in the final game of their series with the Orioles on yesterday. Jamie, we've got first pitch coming up.
That we do. Yesterday, Chris Bassett was excellent over 6. Perhaps Bowden can repeat that kind of performance tonight against the Nationals. We'll take one quick break and bring you back to the Rogers Center right after this.
opener of a 3-game series between the Blue Jays and the Washington Nationals. Glad you are with us tonight here on Sportsnet as Bowden Francis gets ready to make his 2025 season debut. A guy who just solidified a spot in the rotation for this year with the way that he ended last year. As we show you now, the Nationals lineup. This is a team that made a few additions in the offseason to guys like Nathaniel Lowe, Josh Bell, Keibert Ruiz. Their catcher is a holdover, and he's off to a great start. 5 for 10 with a couple of home runs. Former Blue Jay Paul DeYoung batting 7th at third base tonight for the Nats.
Bowden Francis, as Dan mentioned, making his season debut, and boy, did he finish up strong last year. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month in August, and he's done a great job. He has not made a start against the Nationals. He had one game against Washington, and that came a couple years ago, so he'll make his debut against the Washington Nationals. He is so successful because he believes that his stuff is good enough to get big league hitters out, and he pounds the strike zone. He does a great job. In his last 8 starts last season, a total of 54 innings pitched, he allowed just 21 hits, had 6 walks, and struck out 49. The opponents hit just 116 against him, and he will challenge you to put it in play. That being said, the defense becomes very important. Alan Roden is in left again. Nathan Lucas is in center, and George Springer off to a good start. He's in right field. Wagner, Bichette, Jimenez, and Guerrero around the diamond. Alejandro Kirk back behind the plate. He got the day off yesterday. He is back to flash the signals for Bowden Francis.
C.J. Abrams is in the box, the Nationals shortstop. He was an all-star a year ago. He had 246, 20 homers, stole 31 bases. The Nationals like to run, so we'll keep an eye on that over the course of the evening as Abrams sends one a mile up in the air to right field, and it finally settles into the glove of George Springer. 1 pitch, 1 out for Bowden Francis.
Bowden's going to throw a lot of strikes, as we mentioned. He's got a very good fastball. He'll throw a 4-seam fastball, and he'll throw it up and down, in and out. He'll throw it in every quadrant of the strike zone, and he's very effective doing that.
Here is James Wood. This is both literally and figuratively, a big building block for their future, the Nationals feel. 2nd-round pick back in 2021. Got his first action last year. 6'7", 234. Hits the ball hard, doesn't get it in the air as much as maybe here they would like. A lot of hard line drives to left and left center, but you can see the talent.
Rob, it sounds like you're describing Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He looks like, and I thought this when he warmed up in the outfield, it reminded me of Dave Winfield and Dave Parker, a couple of big sluggers that were very big physically.
The Nationals 71 and 91 a year ago. They do appear to be headed in the right direction. They've got a young roster. They signed some free agents to 1-year deals this season, maybe stopgap guys, as the system under Dave Martinez and company, Mike Rizzo, continues to grow. Whether they are ready to compete this year in the National League East remains to be seen. They would love to. They may still be a year away, but they're getting better.
They're definitely getting better, and Dave Martinez, he wasn't too pleased with that last call by the third base umpire on the check swing.
Dave Martinez, both an Expo and a Blue Jay, among other things, in his playing days.
He's in his 8th season as the manager, and of course he was the manager of the 2019 World Series champion Washington Nationals. He's been a long-time coach for a long time, and now, as I mentioned, his 8th season as the skipper.
That 2019 team had the likes of Juan Soto, Max Scherzer, Anthony Rendon. It seems like a million years ago.
Yeah, Steven Strasburg.
Steven Strasburg, yeah.
Very good team, and they had quite a run. This is interesting as Kirk comes out right away to talk to Bowden Francis, and this is something we have seen going all the way back to the end of last year, where Alejandro Kirk has really taken control of this pitching staff. You know, when you come up as a young catcher, you just want to make sure you don't make any mistakes. But now I think he's got so much confidence. He will take charge of calling the game, and he might shift gears from what he started to think about at the beginning of this game. That was an early, quick meeting.
That's high, and a full count now on Wood. The Blue Jays splitting 4 games with the Orioles to begin the season. The Nationals losing 2 out of 3 to the Phillies, although they did win the finale yesterday afternoon. Fastball outside for ball 4. And Wood is aboard, and he can run a little bit. We mentioned this team really likes to run. They stole over 200 bases a year ago, and you look up and down the lineup, Buck, just about everybody can run.
Yeah, and Bowden Francis is very good at neutralizing the running game. He had 1 stolen base against him last year and 1 caught stealing all season long.
And now the home plate umpire, Eric Backus, saying to Bowden Francis, you can't come set until the hitter's in the box and looking out of the mound. First time's a warning. So Francis ready. The batter is Keibert Ruiz, the catcher for the Nationals, in the 3rd year of an 8-year $50 million deal, and by all accounts, including his own admission, did not have a good year at all last year, either offensively or defensively. Had a great spring, is off to a good start here. A couple of home runs, throwing the ball better. Gets the call. Francis does. 1-1.
Now Ruiz just 26 years old, and they made a big commitment to him early in his career, switch hitting catcher, and he has a strong arm, but you're right, he's made some good adjustments behind the plate and also some effective adjustments at the plate.
Again, right there on the corner, 1-2. Wood at first, 1 out, just nicely underway here in the top of the 1st. And a good splitter chopped out in front of the plate. Kirk will take the out at first. 2 down as Wood moves to second.
Alejandro thought about second base. He took a look and wisely decided to take Scherr out at first as Wood moves into scoring position. Now Francis has that splitter. It's a split finger fastball. You can see he was setting the ball in that grip before he goes into the set position. But it really moves like an old-fashioned forkball. It breaks a lot. It's not just a split finger fastball. It's got some break to it.
That's a curveball. That's right over the outside corner for a strike. To Nathaniel Lowe, the first baseman for the Nationals. Washington picked him up in an off-season deal with Texas. A very good defensive player, some power, good all-round player, and he really solidifies the first base spot for this Washington team. That one gets through Kirk. Boy, a breaking ball down low, and Alejandro Kirk, as everybody knows, one of the best in baseball at keeping the ball in front of him, but that one squirted through his legs to the backstop.
Yeah, you don't expect that very often, and this is that splitter right there. He tried to glove it, and it actually went off his glove before it hit the dirt. It was a splitter. We told you that splitter moves all over the place. It's not consistent like some of the other Blue Jays pitchers who throw that split finger fastball.
So Woods now 90 feet away. That's a good splitter there, 1-2. It's been scored, at least for now, a wild pitch, but I think Alejandro Kirk would be the first to tell you that one's on him. As hard as erratic as that splitter can be in terms of its movement, but it is for now a wild pitch. 1-2 the count. In the dirt, 2-2. With a left-handed batter at the plate, Buck, Will Wagner, the third baseman, is way off the line, and that allows James Wood, the runner at third, to come way down the line.
Yeah, and that's why Kirk has to make sure he doesn't give away any rebounds if there is a ball in the dirt. It won't take much for Wood to score.
Fastball hit in the air down the left field line, but foul.
You know, Ruiz, the catcher, and Lowe, the first baseman, they're 2 of the only hot hitters in this Nationals lineup. They've combined to go 11 for 24 now with 6 extra base hits, including 4 home runs. So these 2 guys have been the offensive force early in the season.
Strike 3 called. A splitter over the outside corner gets him. And Francis pitches around that walk in the wild pitch, stranding that runner at third. A good first inning of 2025 for Bowden Francis. very nice start this season, as you can see. 7 for 15, and OPS well over 1,000. Andres Jimenez with the team leading 2 home runs, hitting in the cleanup spot again. Will Wagner has started all 5 games. Alan Roden getting his 4th start of the season.
27-year-old Michael Soroka, as we mentioned, he was drafted by the Atlanta Braves in 2015 out of Bishop Carroll High School in Calgary. And he pitched in the Futures game in 2017, came up for the first time in 2018, and was second in the National League Rookie of the Year voting in 2019 behind Pete Alonso. And he's battled injuries, and he is a terrific pitcher when he is healthy.
Yeah, you mentioned the Achilles tear, and you mentioned it happened twice. He got all the way through the rehab, over a year, just was coming back, and then tore it again, cost him over another year. I read an article today just to refresh my memory a little bit, and his quote after the second tear, Buck, was, "I will come back from this even stronger." And you know, you talk to athletes, they have all sorts of injuries, but when athletes talk to you about tearing their Achilles, that injury and that rehab is as tough as any.
Yeah, and you know, to do it twice, and the second time he was walking in the clubhouse with it tore.
Got in on Bichette a little bit, and a ground ball to Abrams at short for out number 1. Soroka was with the White Sox last year, started off the year in the rotation, didn't have great results. They moved him to the bullpen, and he was lights out. Struck out 15 per 9 innings as a reliever, became a free agent, and signed a 1-year $9 million deal with the Nationals, with the understanding that he would be given the opportunity to be a starting pitcher.
Yeah, and many teams talked to him about being a reliever, but he wanted the chance to start again. And you can see he's working very quickly and coming right at these Blue Jays early in this inning. He'll throw a fastball, slider, changeup, and a sinker.
The 0-1 to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. fouled straight back.
Soroka doesn't need a pitch clock. He likes to work quickly and always has. Keep the pressure on the hitter. That's his mindset.
Goes to the breaking ball. Vladdy gets a piece of that one as well.
Soroka made his first relief appearance a year ago on the 18th of May. It was against the Yankees, and he struck out Verdugo, Rizzo, and Torres in his first inning of relief. And as Dan mentioned, he really finished up in a positive manner, pitching out of the bullpen.
Grounded down to third, and Paul DeYoung makes the play to retire Guerrero for out number 2.
Well, one thing that the Nationals want to do is improve their defense to support their young pitching staff, and they brought in Paul DeYoung to play third, and he was terrific. Last year, as you see, Vladdy, he's not upset about pulling that breaking ball right to the third baseman. He snapped his bat.
So 2 down on ground balls, and here's Anthony Santander. 3 for 15 in that series against his former club, the Baltimore Orioles. The Nationals have seen a lot of him. The schedule changed as of last year, but before last year, of course, the Nationals, their partner in the American League was the Baltimore Orioles. So Santander has played 25 games in his career against the Nationals. Very good success. They've got a book on him, obviously, because they've seen him so much. That's foul. I mean, did he turn on that or what?
Right at the top of the zone. He really got on top of that fastball. He was just out in front of Tad, but he had a good pass at that high heater. Watch how he gets on top of this pitch. It's upstairs, and he's just out in front of it.
And a liner to first is caught by Lowe, and the Blue Jays go in order from the bottom of the first.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Andres Gimenez, well, he is an elite defender, one that has very good instincts. He's a platinum glove winning instincts. And listen, he also is on top of his game whenever he's on the field. If you remember Sunday's game, he made a couple of outstanding plays. And Bo Bichette told me what he really admires about him are those instincts. He has incredible range. He has lightning quick transfer. He said, I always knew what a difference that makes for a hitter, but I didn't quite understand how much it can make on the field. Bichette continued on to say that Gimenez is in tune with the game, understands and anticipates where the hitter might hit it. He's a risk taker who makes his own adjustments. Jeff Hoffman told me he's excited to have a defense like that behind him every time he's on the mound. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. 3-time Gold Glove Award winner Ernie Clement told me about Gimenez. He's got the best internal clock he's ever seen, and Ernie was a teammate of Gimenez's in Cleveland, and he always knows where everybody is on the field and where everybody should be on the field at all times.
And if you're not, he'll let you know. Now, he's a terrific player and one that I think is really going to be a rock-solid defender for this team all season long and into the future.
Josh Bell leading off the second for the Nationals. He's the designated hitter for Washington, signed to a deal in the offseason. It's his second go-round with Washington. He was a National in 2021 and part of 2022, won a Silver Slugger Award in 2022. One area the Nationals wanted to improve upon this year was power. They did not have very much last year, and Bell, a guy they feel can help them with that. This one in the air to left center, but Nathan Lucas runs it down.
Yeah, Bell's originally drafted by the Pirates, and he flies out to Lucas, who's making his second start in 3 games. He was out there on Saturday, got a start in center. He's back out there again this evening.
Now the second baseman for the Nationals, Luis Garcia Jr. Hit .282 with 18 home runs a year ago. Also stole 22 bases. Grounded to first. Comes up quickly on Guerrero. He'll make the play and feed. Francis covering.
You know, when you have the kind of defense the Blue Jays have, pitchers have a lot of confidence they can throw strikes. They don't have to be perfect, because if they do give up contact, they've got good fielders all over the diamond. Vladdy Guerrero won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago, and this is a tough little play. He takes a look at it and thinks, I'll go get it, and then Bowden's right there for the flip. This is a good defense, and when you're playing behind Bowden Francis as a defender, you expect every pitch to be put in play because he throws so many strikes. Keeps you on your toes.
So 2 down, and now here's Paul DeJong. As mentioned, a former Blue Jay, wasn't here all that long. Just 13 games in 2023. It was right around the trade deadline. Bo Bichette injured his knee. The Blue Jays were in a pennant race trying to contend for a wild card spot, and they went and picked up DeJong from St. Louis. And DeJong just didn't get the bat going while he was here. 13 games and didn't hit much at all. The Blue Jays let him go. He went to San Francisco after that. Then split last year between the White Sox and the Royals, but Bucky may have found it again. He hit 24 home runs last year.
And you know what? He was second in the National League Rookie of the Year voting in 2017. He finished second to Cody Bellinger. He had a great start to his career with the Cardinals. He was actually the second. He hit the second most home runs in his first 3 seasons as a Cardinal. He had 74 home runs. Only Albert Pujols had more home runs in the first 3 years of his career as a Cardinal than Paul DeJong.
Was a shortstop then, is a third baseman now. Veteran presence, sure-handed. Curveball taken low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a splitter swung on and missed. A 3-up, 3-down inning. And strikeout number 2 tonight for Bowden Francis. Well, Hazel told you about some of the defensive things that Andres Gimenez has been doing and no doubt will continue to do. Coming into the season, the question was, how much would he hit? Now, it's just 4 games in, but he had a very good series against the Orioles.
Well, he sure did, and he's leading the Blue Jays with 2 home runs. And he's hit a couple of long home runs. This one's deep into the seats in center field. And, you know, he only hit 9 home runs a year ago, but he's off to a good start this year. His career high in home runs came back in 2022. That great year he had, he hit 17 home runs and drove in 69 runs for the Guardians and hit 297 for the season. The Blue Jays will take those numbers in a heartbeat to get production out of the second base position. But when you think about it, he has driven in at least 60 runs in each of his last 3 seasons.
Takes this one a little high for ball 1. You saw Edwin Encarnacion in the dugout talking to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Anthony Santander. Two 2-0. Edwin's a fairly regular presence.
Yeah, he sure is. A good guy to bounce things off of, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter. And he's always around the batting cage during BP.
Soroka falls behind 3-0 to Gimenez with Kirk on deck and then Springer. And a strike, 3-1.
Boy, I like the tempo Soroka has used to start this ball game, but he's not messing around. And you know, he's just got to be thrilled to be healthy and back on the mound pitching in the big leagues. Gimenez asked for time before Soroka was going to deliver that next pitch, but he is getting it and firing it.
John Schneider, George Springer, and others getting a look at Soroka. Another high fly ball, and it's deep, and it is gone. Number 3 on the season already for Andres Gimenez.
Well, that's exactly what happens when a pitcher falls behind a batter. And Gimenez had a chance to see Soroka's extra pitches, got a gauge of his velocity, saw nothing but fastballs, and jumps on that 3-1 pitch and hits it out of the yard. Boy, he had a good at bat, and he's off to a good start. Who was questioning John Schneider to put him in the cleanup spot? Come on.
I mean, the Blue Jays have 4 home runs this year. Tyler Heineman's got 1, and he's got the other 3.
That's awesome.
He's more familiar with that jacket than everybody else combined. 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the second. Here's Alejandro Kirk. Kirk 2 for 11 in the early going, making his 4th start in 5 games. 1-1. Last season, Buck, Andres Gimenez hit his 3rd home run on May the 19th. It is still March right now, and he's got 3 home runs. Kirk will pop one up for Garcia out in shallow right, 1 down.
All right, we'll go back and look at this great swing. Another 4-seam fastball, top of the zone, and he had a good read on that pitch. And he knows he got this one. 3 home runs already. He hit 9 all season a year ago. And he's off to a good start as a Blue Jay.
Now George Springer gets his first look at Soroka as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. says, who is this guy?
Glad to have him on his team.
Springer had a good day yesterday. 2 for 4, had a 2-run single in the first, a double in the 8th. 95 in the corner, 1-2.
That pitch will always be effective. 95 on the corner, down and away. I don't care who's hitting.
Leo Mazzoni's favorite pitch, right?
Yep.
Fastball, down and away, outside corner. And 94, a swing and a miss, 2 down. Soroka throwing harder tonight than he did on average last year.
Yeah, well, he threw harder when he moved into the bullpen than he did when he was starting. And it's natural because, you know, as a starter, you have to kind of pace yourself. As a reliever, you expect to be in there 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 innings in Soroka's case. So he had a better fastball when he pitched out of the pen.
Now Will Wagner bounces one up the middle. Abrams to his right, gloves it and makes the play, and that will retire the side. But the Blue Jays have the lead as Andres Gimenez goes deep for the 3rd time in 5 games this season, and it's 1-0 at the end of 2.
Patio, always a solid spot to take in the game, and I would say fans are enjoying this Monday night at the ballpark, especially with the Vladdy Jr. Silver Slugger giveaway. And today was all about Vladdy, with lots of activations happening at Gate 9. It was a lot of memorabilia. We actually had the award on display as well. Great for fans. And listen, this week is going to be busy. We've got our first Looney Dogs night of the season happening tomorrow night. Wednesday's Work from Dome, and you better believe I will be there to cover it all for you. Dan?
Emily, thank you. Lots of folks going home with a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead tonight. Andres Gimenez has been the slugger here tonight. Another home run, his 3rd. 1-0 Blue Jays top 3. And here's Dylan Cruz, the right fielder for the Nationals, to lead it off against Bowden Francis. Cruz, and it's only a few games, 3 games to be exact, but is off to a very slow start this year. He is 0 for 11 and has struck out in each of his last 8 at-bats. Puts the ball in play, but grounds it to 3rd. Will Wagner's got to unload in a hurry. Cruz runs very well, and he just does get him.
Yeah, the Nationals have 2 of the fastest guys in baseball in the 8 and 9 spot in this lineup, and they both play in the outfield, Dylan Cruz and Jacob Young. And Wagner was aware of that. He unloaded in a hurry and throws him out by about a half a step.
Cruz, a 2nd overall pick a couple of years ago. Here's Jacob Young, who Buck just mentioned, the number 9 hitter and the center fielder. Speaking of guys off to slow starts, and I know you know, Buck, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. What's going on with Rafael Devers of the Red Sox right now is unbelievable. He went 0 for 3 today, 3 more strikeouts. He did draw a walk, but 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. He is now 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts this year. Rafael Devers, what is going on?
Yeah, and he is such a good hitter. But he has taken so many swings and swung right through it. I mean, not even making contact. And he really looks out of sorts. And you remember the controversy early in spring training. Does he want a DH? No, he doesn't want a DH. He wants to play 3rd. And now all of a sudden he agreed to be the DH late in the spring. But boy, this doesn't look good. You know, coming out like that. He's been such a great hitter for his entire run in the big leagues. And now it's like he forgot how to hit all of a sudden.
Moved him to DH, of course, because they signed Alex Bregman. There's the strike, 3-1. The Red Sox lost at Baltimore today, the home opener for the Orioles. Baltimore winning 8-5. So the Red Sox are now 1-4 on the season. Baltimore's 3-2. Remember Colton Cowser and that hand injury at first base yesterday? Broke his thumb. He's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. They really suffered a tough injury with him. He's a big part of their team, and yeah, we saw him jam that left hand into the first base bag, and he suffered a fracture. He couldn't hit in his spot late in the game, and they pinch hit for him, and it kind of set up a red flag for us.
Francis has battled back from 3-0 to a full count on Young. Fastball is fouled out of play off to the right.
And to finish up on Rafael Devers, coming into this game today, he was over 16 with 12 strikeouts. That's an MLB record for a player's first 4 games of the season. And he struck out 3 more times today.
I bet you it's an MLB record for first 5 games of a season too. I mean, he'll get it going. He's too good not to. As Francis bounces in a splitter, a 1-out walk to Young. And this is a guy they really have to watch on the bases. He stole 33 bases last year.
33 for 43. He can really run, but as we mentioned earlier, Bowden Francis is very good at taking the running game away. He unloads in a hurry. He's got a nice slide step he utilizes, and he mixes up his set times.
Leadoff man C.J. Abrams is up. And that one went zooming by the first base coach, Gerardo Parra, down near the bag.
Yeah, and those coaches, that's why they wear those helmets, and Parra can laugh about it right now, but this is a bullet right over Parra's head.
Wow.
And he bailed out in time. Look out. Boy, they are close to the action for sure.
Young looks like he's itching to go, not running, and it's fouled off 0-2.
But you see what Bowden has done in each of these first 2 pitches. The first pitch he really held for a long time, and for a pitcher that's not all that experienced, Bowden Francis really controls his tempo and his rhythm on the mound. You can see Young, he's one of the fastest guys in all of baseball.
Not going, and it's outside, ball 1.
He has thrown 3 pitches to C.J. Abrams, and he's held the pitches at a different time each time. So it's very difficult for a base runner at first base to get a read on when he's going to unload.
Throws over to force him back.
Tell you one thing, that really makes your catcher feel good when your pitcher is really taking time and focused on the runner at first base, not allowing him to get a good jump.
And swung on, foul tipped into the mid of Kirk for out number 2.
Bowden Francis pitches like a 10-year veteran, controls his emotions, and elevates that 4-seam fastball right at the top of the zone and gets the swing and miss. His 3rd strikeout already.
Didn't have great results in the spring until his last outing, which was 11 days ago. That was by far his best outing, but a lot of times pitchers, hitters alike are working on things during the spring, so the numbers have to be taken with a grain of salt, but he looks pretty good here tonight.
Yeah, he can pitch. You know what? He gained so much confidence last year. He's got a bunch of mentors in that Blue Jays dugout, the starters that really have embraced him, and they pass along their experience. And he's a good listener.
Ooh, just back in ahead of it.
A good tag by Vladdy, and that's a perfect pitch. That pitch inside. And it takes the catcher behind the batter. Watch how Kirk really clears out behind the batter, has plenty of room to make the throw. And just like that, Young was able to get back in ahead of that tag.
And no challenge for the Blue Jays, so a couple of strikes on James Wood. Splitter taken low. Abrams 0 for 2, including the strikeout here this inning. Young being held on. There he goes as it's fouled off by Wood. Francis sets. Runner not going, and a ground ball to the right side. Scooped up by Jimenez to retire the side. No runs, no hits, a man left onto the bottom of the third. Francis and the Blue Jays leading 1-0.
Download the app for the latest odds on today's baseball games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Glad you're with us on this Monday night from the Rogers Center. Dan Schulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, Emily Agard is with us as well. Opening up a 3-game series between the Blue Jays and the franchise, of course, that was once the Montreal Expos. Now, this is what, year number 21 of the Washington Nationals. A 1-0 lead for the Blue Jays on the Andres Jimenez home run. It'll be Nathan Lucas, Alan Rodin, and Bo Bichette to face Calgary's Michael Soroka. Used to go by Mike, but as of a couple of years ago, has to be referred to as Michael. Here's Nathan Lucas getting the start in center. And a liner to the left side is caught by DeYoung for the out.
Now, Soroka had a very good mentor growing up, Chris Reitsma, who is involved in Canada baseball. Reitsma pitched for the Canadian Junior National Team in 1995, and he is currently the senior advisor and pitching coach for Weber Academy out in Calgary, and Soroka works out there with him. But they've had a long-lasting relationship, and he's done a great job of being the mentor for Michael Soroka.
A 7-year big league career with Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Seattle for Reitsma back in the early 2000s. Here's Alan Rodin getting his first look at Soroka. And this ball is lined hard to right center field, and it's going to get past Cruz. Up against the wall in right center, and that's a stand-up double for Rodin.
His first big league extra base hit. Well, he smoked that ball, and the right fielder, Dylan Cruz, he didn't take a very good route to that ball. He kind of cut across and didn't expect it to carry as well. And look how he's not going back at all. And by the time he sees that it's going to be deep, it's too late. He kind of went straight across from right towards center and didn't take an angle on that ball at all. But Rodin ends up with a double.
So he's in scoring position for the top of the order. Here's Bo Bichette. And a breaking ball at the knees for a called strike. Bichette with a ground out his first time up. Rodin now 3 for 11 in his first few days in the big leagues. Blue Jays coming into this game tonight averaging 4.5 runs per game, 18 runs in the 4 games against the Orioles. putting the ball in play a lot, hitting it pretty hard. Only 3 home runs in the 4 games. Now 4 in 5 with the Jimenez home run tonight. There's still a lot of unknown about the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to figure out where you're going to get your offense from, but the youngsters in the lineup have held their own early in this season. Wagner and Roden both. Last year, the Blue Jays averaged 4.14 runs per game, and they need to get better than that. And they'd love to be up around 5 per game. That is a pretty good number when you consider the quality of their pitching staff. If they can score about 5 runs a game, they should win a lot of games.
They were 23rd of 30 teams in runs per game a season ago. The 2-2. Ooh, just high. 3-2. Guerrero on deck. Bichette asks for time. Buck. He is really throwing hard.
Yeah, he's throwing good. You can see he feels confident about what he's featuring here tonight because of the tempo he's working with. Whenever you see a pitcher grab the ball, step on a rubber, and anxious to throw, he feels good about what he's featuring.
And you can see there last year, averaged 93.5. We've seen a bunch of 95s and a 96 on that last pitch. Breaking ball grounded out to second. Roden will advance to third as Bichette is thrown out 2 down. So with 2 down and a runner 90 feet away, it'll be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Guerrero grounded out to third his first time up. Fastball outside for ball 1.
Remember, after Guerrero grounded out on that slider, he broke his back running up the first baseline, broke it over his knee. If I did that, I'd be on the IL.
I was going to ask you, did you ever even think about doing that?
Oh, no.
George Brett or Robin Yount or any of the guys you play with ever do that?
No. The only guy I ever saw break a bat was Don Baylor, who broke it just with a check swing.
That's a strong man.
That's a strong man. Of course, everybody remembers Bo Jackson breaking it over his helmet.
Yep. It always feels risky to me because what if you try to break it and you don't do it?
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
And it's going to hurt. Down the right field line. Hit well, and it's off the wall on a bounce. Roden is in to score, and Guerrero is into second with an RBI double.
Lots of managers talk about pockets of hitters and where you really have to pay attention. And this pocket right here, Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander, that's where the Blue Jays expect to get most of their production. Vladdy hits this on the line. It's going to get past Dylan Cruz out in right, go up against the fence. Roden's going to jog in with the second Blue Jay run, and Vladdy's headed for second base with his second double of the season.
So it is 2-0 now in the bottom of the third, and Guerrero's out at second for Santander. Breaking ball low. Well, he's one of these guys, and we're just getting to know him, who looks like that heart rate stays nice and low no matter what's going on in the box.
He's had a lot of success in the big leagues, all coming with the Baltimore Orioles.
Remember the ball that almost hit him yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, it really almost hit him, and he stood up like it was nothing.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
got that high fastball. He pulled that same pitch foul into the seats in the upper deck earlier in the ball game, back in his first at bat, and then he eventually lined out to the first baseman.
Guerrero looking around out behind him, making sure Abrams not sneaking into the bag. As Santander rolls one to second, up with it to Garcia, and that'll end the inning. But Rodin got it started with a one-out double, and eventually came in to score on the Guerrero double into the right field corner. 2-0 Blue Jays at the end of 3. That well, wound up in the bullpen, wound up in the minors, came back mid-season, worked his way back into the rotation, and just about every single start, Buck, that he made in the last 6-7 weeks of the season was appointment viewing. Took 2 no-hitters into the 9th. In 2 other starts, went 7 innings and allowed 1 hit, won American League Pitcher of the Month.
Yeah, he was tremendous, and the significance of those 2 no-hitters into the 9th, he was the first pitcher since Nolan Ryan in 1989 to take 2 no-hitters into the 9th and lose them in the 9th inning. Of course, Dave Stieb had a similar fate in 1988, a year before Nolan Ryan. But Bowden Francis, I mean, he was nearly unhittable every time he took the mound late in the season.
Keibert Ruiz leading it off, the catcher for the Nationals. 3-4-5 for Washington. Ruiz, Nathaniel Lowe, and Josh Bell. And Francis coming right back with the curveball, missed just low, and it's 2-0. Fastball, splitter, curveball, slider. Fastball there, pulled to the right side, sliding stop Guerrero. Francis covering.
I tell you what, Vladdy Guerrero makes it look easy over there. That was a hot shot. He slides to his right, gloves it, and once he gets it, just the underhand toss to Francis. And we mentioned this earlier. When a pitcher has this kind of defense behind him, he's very anxious to throw strikes. No reason not to. Put it in play. Give your defense a chance to help you out.
Second time that Guerrero has fed Francis at the bag. Bowden wanted a new baseball now to deal with Nathaniel Lowe. Lowe's got 1 year with the Rangers where he hit 27 homers, but generally kind of a 15 to 20 home run guy. Very good defense and walks a lot. Had the 4th highest walk rate in the majors last year. So this is a guy who can give him some power, some good defense, a good on base percentage. Curveball gets the call on the outside edge. 0-2.
Mike Grizzler, their president of baseball operations and general manager, told me that they acquired Lowe because they needed his defense at first base, just to tighten up the infield defense, a former Gold Glove winner. And he's got some power. They were short on power as well last year.
High fastball again. Low wouldn't bite. The 3-2-8 club, the new area put in the offseason down the right field line. Pretty good view of what's going on as Francis misses outside for ball 3. Francis has walked a couple already tonight. Wood in the first, Young in the third. Ground ball to second. Jimenez on to Guerrero, 2 down.
Another reason that Bowden Francis pitched so well at the end of the season was he was efficient. And he didn't throw many pitches per inning, and he kept pounding that strike zone. Kevin Gausman has been a terrific mentor to Bowden Francis, and they got talking at the end of the season. He said, keep the pedal to the metal. Keep throwing strikes, and he can throw strikes anywhere in the strike zone. Up, down, he can do it with his breaking ball. He can do it with his splitter. And there's a good first pitch splitter right there.
You always hear the expression, trust your stuff. There are guys with really good stuff who don't trust their stuff nearly as much as Bowden Francis trusts his.
I think a lot of these younger pitchers that have not had the chance to hit don't understand how hard hitting is. And it is extremely hard. And when you look at the averages around baseball, the major league average is in the 240s. Look at that.
Broken bat, ground ball to Guerrero. He'll take it himself. And a 3-up, 3-down, 4th inning for Bowden Francis. He's off to a great start here this season. So's Andres Jimenez. He has homered again here tonight. His 3rd already on the season. And he will lead it off for the Blue Jays at the bottom of the 4th when we come back. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin April 19th. Watch every game right here on Sportsnet. Bottom 4 here at the ballpark. 2-0 Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez up for the 2nd time. The home run to right in the 2nd inning. And with that home run, he has become the first player in franchise history to hit 3 homers in his first 5 games with the team.
Did you predict that?
Didn't everybody? I mean, it's not just the home runs, which obviously are great. Remember the double to left center, some good contact all the way around him. You know, in the spring down in Dunedin, the hitting coaches were like, the guy looks pretty good. They think there's more in there than he showed the last couple of years, but you never know till the season gets going, and it's such a long season. But boy, is this an encouraging beginning.
Well, it sure is. And obviously when you come to a new team, you want to get off to a good start. And you know, it's not like they expect you to be a big offensive force, but you want to get off to a good start just to make everybody kind of understand, hey, I'm a good player too. Everybody knows what a great defender he is, but there's a lot more in this game. And he's just 26. You know, you forget that. He's just young in his career, just hitting his prime.
That is high. He's taken a couple of close pitches. It's now 3-2. Popped up foul over the third base dugout and back out of play.
You know, this is just the 5th game of the season, but David Popkins right there and Lou Ionati, the 2 hitting coaches that are new to the team this year, they've done a terrific job of putting a game plan together, but then turning their hitters loose when they leave the dugout. Go up and hit now. You're well prepared. Just focus on the pitcher, and it's paid off.
Well, let's see what happens here. A leadoff walk to Jimenez, who stole 30 bases last year for the 2nd year in a row when he was with Cleveland. Blue Jays just 1 stolen base in the 4-game series against Baltimore. That was George Springer. Let's see what they're thinking here. You can run Jimenez. You can hit and run with Kirk. They like that combination.
Well, you don't get a chance to steal many bases when you hit 3 home runs in the first 5 games. But he has 99 career stolen bases. His next steal will be a milestone stolen base.
There he goes. Taken by Kirk. The throw down and safe at second. And Luis Garcia is pointing to the dugout and suggesting they have a look at it.
Well, the second base umpire, Derek Thomas, he had good position to make the call. It was really close at second. And they're checking on it, and they're not going to look at it. It'll be a stolen base. Stolen base number 100 for Andres Jimenez. Pretty good throw, but it's just not in time as he gets that hand on the base before the tag is applied.
So another aspect of his game that the Blue Jays hope can really help them offensively. The ability to steal bases.
Well, it is so important because he's hitting ahead of Alejandro Kirk, who drives in a lot of hard ground balls and hits into a lot of double plays. So now with that stolen base ahead of Kirk in the lineup, you don't have those double plays.
And look at Kirk poking one the other way, just fair. Jimenez will come in to score, and Kirk is on his way to second. It's an RBI double, and it's 3-0.
Boy, that was a pretty good pitch. Looked like it might have been off the plate outside, but with the runner in second base, Kirk is changing his sights a bit, saying, okay, if I hit it to the right side, at least I'm going to move that base runner over to third. Watch where this pitch is. It's off the plate outside, and he keeps it fair. It's just fastball down the right field line, and then it caroms off that wall into shallow right field, and Kirk ends up at second base. His first double of the season.
Now George Springer. So Jimenez walks, steals second, comes in on the Kirk double. Springer struck out in his first at bat. Back out of play, 0-2. You can understand why the Blue Jays want Jimenez right in front of Kirk. And you talked about a number of the different aspects. It allows Jimenez to run. It allows Kirk to do some more things with the bat to try to move Jimenez around. They do not want it flipped. They don't want Kirk in front of Jimenez. Swing and a miss, and Springer down on strikes for out number 1.
That's a breaking ball and has a little more depth to it, and that's a pitch that Springer will hit with a few more at-bats under his belt, because that's up in the zone, not exactly where Soroka wanted to throw it.
Now Soroka drops a slider in for a strike on Will Wagner. Wagner grounded out to short in his first at bat. Into center, and that's down for a base hit. Kirk will be held at third, and the Blue Jays have runners on the corners.
Another pitch up in the zone that Wagner was able to get on and line it into center field. You can see how high it is. It looked like a changeup that he missed upstairs. And he hammers it into center. Kirk had to make sure it was down safely before he takes off from second so he can move only over to third.
And Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for the Nationals, is out to the mound.
How will your journey evolve?
So Wagner the base hit, Kirk to third, 1 out, and a guy at the plate who understands the assignment in Nathan Lukes. He's not a guy who's going to try to do too much here. The issue is Kirk does not run well, so it might have to be a little bit more than a medium depth fly ball to get him home, but Lukes will be thinking about trying to get that runner home from third. Went after one up above the belt, 0-1.
That's the one you want, though, in that situation, that high pitch. You're looking for something up in the zone, trying to drive it to the outfield. That wasn't a bad swing right there.
Same place. This time he doesn't go after it. Good contact numbers a year ago for Lukes. Only struck out 9 times in 91 plate appearances. As Wagner draws a throw. And just high. Boy, all 3 pitches have been right in the same area.
Yep, and that first one, Lukes went after it, but the next 2, he had a pretty good look and felt like they were up.
That's a strike, 2-2. Kirk at third, Wagner at first, 1 out. It feels like in these situations Lukes is thinking opposite field, hit the ball in the air to the opposite field.
Yeah, you want to stay on the ball longer in this situation. Tendency is to pull it on the ground to the pull side, so he's staying middle of the diamond.
Chops it to third. To second one, and that's it. It'll be a fielder's choice and an RBI, and it's 4-0.
Well, Wagner kind of gingerly coming off the field, and he had kind of an awkward slide into second base. I don't know if he caught his spike, and take a look at the slide there at second. He hit that bag hard with his left leg. You can see how he grabs his knee and his shin.
And now a ground ball to second by Rodin. He'll be retired. That'll end the inning. The Blue Jays add 2. And Alejandro Kirk was in the middle of it. An RBI double to right, scoring Andres Gimenez. Kirk would later come in himself, and it's 4-0. More baseball later on tonight. The Braves will be in LA to take on the Dodgers at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Sportsnet 360. The Dodgers are undefeated. They are 5-0. Atlanta is winless, 0-4 on the season. Will Wagner is back on the field. It did look like maybe something going on with that left knee on the slide. For those wondering, that is the knee he had surgery on last September. Hopefully nothing serious at all. And again, he's right back on the field here next half inning, but something to keep an eye on. Top of the 5th, 4-0 Blue Jays, and Bowden Francis has been excellent tonight as he deals with Luis Garcia Jr. here to begin this inning. Good splitter. He has had very good command of that split tonight.
Yeah, he's had command of all his pitches, and that splitter is really working well for him. But, you know, the splitter becomes most effective when you can throw strikes with your fastball. And he has done that consistently.
And a ground ball to second. Easy play, Jimenez.
8 ground ball outs so far in this game. A lot of soft contact as Francis has it working.
Well, let's bring you up to date on some of the pitching news around the club today. Max Scherzer saw a hand specialist in Pennsylvania. He is back. Was not before the game. Was not a couple of hours ago, but he is back. We don't have the results. Maybe there will be news after the game. But he saw a hand specialist in Pennsylvania today to try to figure out how they can deal with the thumb issue that he is having. Scherzer is on the IL, as I think most people know. So they've got to figure out that spot in the rotation, which is due to come up Friday. And right now it could be Easton Lucas or it could be Yariel Rodriguez, but Friday could also be Wednesday. The Blue Jays are contemplating starting either Rodriguez or Lucas on Wednesday and then pushing Gausman back to Friday. Give a veteran like Gausman a couple more days early in the season. And also then Gausman is starting opening day at Citi Field, which is going to be quite a scene. And you'd give Lucas, if it's Lucas, a start here in Toronto. Jimenez goes back and makes the catch to retire Paul DeJong. So they're juggling a couple of ideas right now. A lot of it depends on who might be needed tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, and they'll wait until they see the use of the bullpen, as you see Scherzer and Bassett talking things over. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that'd be a good move for the team to save Gausman, have him pitch the opener on Friday afternoon. Easton Lucas has started in the past. He pitched here last year when he came up for 2 outings in late in September. So yeah, he could handle that.
That was him in the second row as you saw that shot out to the bullpen. Here's a drive by Dylan Cruz, straightaway center, hit well. Lucas has it. And another 3 up, 3 down inning for Bowden Francis. Let's get an update with Jamie.
with our City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. Upgrade your City Connect Fridays wardrobe by being one of the first 15,000 fans who enter the ballpark on Friday, April 18th. Head to bluejays.com/promotions to get your tickets today.
Emily, thank you very much. Bottom of the 5th inning here with the Rogers Center, and so far so good for the Blue Jays. Bowden Francis has been great, and the Blue Jays have scored 4 runs, including a home run by Andres Jimenez. The other runs driven in by Guerrero, Kirk, and Lucas tonight. Top of the order, here's Bo Bichette, 0 for 2. Up and in from Soroka for ball 1.
Yeah, it's a good fastball upstairs, and Mo had to bend out of the way. Came right back with the same pitch, just a little bit further out over the plate.
He's throwing a lot of fastballs tonight. Not there. Big cut on that slider, and Bo just missed it.
Yeah, that was a pitch that Soroka wanted to get down a little further in the zone and keep it away from the middle of the plate.
Bounced foul. Activity in the Nationals pen. Right-hander Lucas Sims has started to throw. It's just 3 games in for Washington, but their bullpen has been a major concern. The starting pitching coming into tonight had been great, and the bullpen, though, had allowed way more than a run per inning in the 3-game series against the Phillies.
Watch Bo react after this second pitch in the at-bat, up and in, and he looked out there and may have even said something.
Oh, I think he did. 2-2, and then Soroka runs another fastball in there.
Mo is just 2 for 7 against Soroka, going up head-to-head against the right-hander, including 2 groundouts here tonight in this game.
And a slider swung on and missed. Soroka gets him.
Depend guards won't make you a grill master, but they'll show leaks who's boss. Keep it dry, guys.
Little pizza, one of the many things here at the ballpark, as Guerrero lifts a fly ball to left, but didn't quite get it. Edge of the track, the catch made by Wood, and Vladdy now 1 for 3. He'd like to put that jacket on sooner rather than later. Hit his first home run of the season.
Yeah, we're waiting on the big boys to go deep here yet. Blue Jays haven't had one of their big power hitters hit a home run yet. Maybe we have a new power hitter.
Jimenez has 3 of the 4 the team has hit this season. Santander looking for his first as he lines it foul down the line. And it's golfed up in the air to shallow right. The second baseman Garcia's back, and he'll make the catch, and Soroka retires the top of the order in order here in the bottom of the 5th.
missed the last couple games, but really it's because I just want to hang out inside the brand new Heinz Club 328. It's located in the right field corner, and just imagine standing here to see George Springer make his run-saving play he made just yesterday against the Orioles. Guys, it doesn't get much closer to the action than this. Sending it back to you guys in the booth.
Emily, thank you very much. Emily Agard giving us all the sights and sounds from so many different spots of the ballpark. She'll be with us every game this series. It is 4-0 Blue Jays. And the number 9 hitter Jacob Young leading off the 6th inning against Bowden Francis. Fastball for a strike.
You've said that a lot tonight, Dan. Boy, Bowden has really been good. Here's 2 base runners for the Nationals to this point.
Curveball for a strike.
Look at the tempo and the rhythm of his pitches. He's just under control, really balanced over the rubber. There's no urgency in any pitch he throws. He's not trying to throw one better than the last. He's just in a real good spot once again. We saw this a lot at the end of last season.
Shakes off Kirk a couple of times, knows what he wants. He wanted a fastball, and he just missed low. Muscled up on that one a bit. Reaches back for a little more again, and he strikes him out. Let's check in with Hazel.
Dan, I asked Pete Walker about Bowden Francis. He said they had to really monitor his innings a little bit this spring, as well as his workload this winter, because of how many innings he pitched in 2024. He said he was really pleased with the way Francis got himself into great shape. His body is in great shape, and thanks to the monitoring of his innings, they said they look forward to, quote, letting him loose this season.
Which would be great. Big, strong guy. If you can get 160, 180 innings out of him, that would be great. Top of the order, C.J. Abrams. John Schneider said before the game, and this is a quote, to ask him to replicate what he did at the end of last season would be silly. And it was a great quote. It's it's unreasonable to ask anybody to do what he did over and over and over again. Abrams sends one to right, and that is gone. A home run. C.J. Abrams gets the Nationals on the board, and that is their first hit. Francis had gone 5 1/3 without giving up a hit until that home run by Abrams.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. That was the similar fate he had last year when he took a no-hitter into the 9th. Taylor Ward hit a home run in the top of the 9th for the Angels to break up the no-hit bid on August 24th, and then Francisco Lindor hit a home run to break up a no-hit bid on September 11th. So that no-hit bid ends quickly here in the 6th inning with 1 out.
Not a terrible pitch. I mean, it had a bit of the strike zone, but it was a little down, a little away, but Abrams got to it.
Yeah, and you know what? At this point in the ball game, he pitched aggressively. That's the splitter, and you can see he stayed on it and hits it deep out of the ballpark in right. He hit 20 home runs a year ago.
And now a fly ball to the opposite field by James Wood, and that is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Nationals here in the 6th. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-run game.
Wood hit 9 home runs last season in half a season, and that's just a fastball down and away, only 91 miles an hour, and it wasn't that good fastball we had seen. So after back-to-back home runs, Pete Walker, the pitching coach, has gone to the mound, and he'll just have an opportunity to slow things down a little bit right here. After the strikeout of Young to start the inning, Abrams and Wood go back-to-back.
And it looks like there was a phone call down to the bullpen at the same time. Pete Walker out to spend some time with the Francis, settle things down a little bit. And this is Mason Fluharty. who was just called up to the big leagues yesterday. Whenever he pitches, it will be his major league debut.
Yeah, he got up a couple times yesterday in that ball game and actually got to a point where he was hot. He was ready to come into a ball game, but John Schneider never got to that point with Fluharty. But he's the first up here tonight.
Got a lefty on deck and Nathaniel Lowe, switch hitter behind him, left-handed hitter behind him. As Francis starts Keibert Ruiz with a strike. This one bounced to the right side. Guerrero started after it, then peeled off to first, and Jimenez makes the play.
Yeah, man, that's an adjustment that Vladdy has made all spring long, understanding with the range he has at second with Jimenez. He thinks about going after it, and he goes, oh, I forgot who I got at second base now, and Jimenez has great range, so you can see Vladdy laughing at it. Oh. You know, last year, because he had so many different second basemen to play next to, he had to go after those balls. Not the case this season. He can just go to the bag and wait on a throw from Jimenez.
Francis now to face Nathaniel Lowe, a strikeout and a ground out. His 80th pitch of the night is fouled off out of play.
A couple good things have happened here tonight, obviously, with Bowden getting this series off on the right foot for the pitchers. Taking a no-hitter into the 6th, and the pitch count is good, and that's what you'd like. If he can get through 6 innings with a very low pitch count, that'll serve him well for next time. But you can see the velocity has dropped down a little bit here in the 6th inning in his first start of the season.
That last fastball, 91. Boy, that is some good location on a fastball. Not much that Lowe could do with that.
Yeah, and you know what? And that fastball, not quite as crisp as it was earlier in the game, 91-92, but that's in a terrific spot, and all Lowe can do is just foul it off a very defensive swing.
Nick Sandlin has joined Mason Fluharty in the pen. Up and in again, 2-2. At some point, the split down and away's got to be coming, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's pounded him in pretty good with that fastball.
No chase, 3-2.
Yeah, he threw the splitter, but it was never in the zone. I'll throw it again right here. Throw that split finger pitch again on this 3-2 pitch.
He did, but it's taken for ball 4 by Lowe. And that is going to bring the switch hitting Josh Bell to the plate. So John Schneider's got 3 options here. Leave Francis, bring in Fluharty, or if Sandlin has been up long enough to get loose, bring in Sandlin.
Yeah, and the discussion between the pitching coach and the manager, and now Pete's going to check on the status of both Sandlin and Fluharty.
Francis stays. And a fastball is over the outside edge for a strike.
Well, one thing that I've always been impressed with watching Bowden Francis, he never reaches back for extra velocity. Even though the velocity has dropped a little bit, he still has good command of his fastball because he's staying with his good delivery.
Splitter low, a ball and a strike. Long inning for him here, though. Pitch count getting up, couple of homers, man on base, and the tying run at the plate. Another split, and this one will get past Kirk. A wild pitch allows Lowe to move to second.
That's that splitter that's bounced into third and down through a wild pitch earlier in the game. But you see Kirk tried to catch it instead of block it, and he's a terrific blocker of those pitches in the dirt. That time he tried to catch it.
Curveball up in the zone, and a huge cut there by Bell, but he missed it.
Yeah, and Bowden can throw that breaking ball up in the zone because he's got good spin on it, and it still breaks. It's basically not a hanger. It still breaks when it's up in the zone, and that's what makes it so effective.
Trying to get through 6 in his season debut. Out of play. Reach back for a little extra there. 94.
Yeah, he finished off that pitch very well.
Back to the mound, and he's got it. A nice play by Francis, and the side is retired. They get a couple of solo home runs, but Bowden Francis, a good first outing through 6.
Jays fans, if you're making plans for the upcoming long weekend, you might want to add Junior Jays Sunday on April 20th to the list. Join us at the ballpark for an exciting day of games, activities, artists, and more. Be sure to stick around post-game where kids 14 and under can run the bases. Visit bluejays.com/promotions to get your tickets now. Guys.
Emily, thank you. Bottom of the 6th, and the Nationals with a couple in the top half. It is 4-2. Michael Soroka still on the mound for Washington. Andres Jimenez has homered and walked, stolen a base, and scored. It'll be Jimenez, Kirk, and Springer here this inning. Dave Martinez has a lefty up right now, the former Tampa Bay Ray, Colin Poche, and there may be something going on with Michael Soroka. The catcher, Keibert Ruiz, I think he saw something that concerned him. He told the umpire, started walking out to the mound, looked into the dugout, and now Dave Martinez and the Washington trainer are out to the mound, and you don't like to see this with all that Soroka has been through in his career. And that's going to be it, Buck.
That's tough. Soroka obviously felt something, and the catcher went out, Ruiz went out, and the trainer comes out with the manager, and he's going to leave this game. That's disappointing. Take a look at this last pitch that he throws. And then you can see he looks in the dugout and he's feeling something in his right hand, right arm.
Something in his arm, yeah.
And then Ruiz says, "You okay?" And then said, "Wait a minute, something's not right out there." That's too bad. Hopefully it's nothing serious.
Michael Soroka forced to leave the game here in the bottom of the 6th.
Care baseball programming to kids in Canadian communities. Plus, you have a chance to win the life-changing jackpot, currently sitting just over $356,000 and rising. Show your support by getting your tickets at bluejays.com/5050 from anywhere in Ontario or Nova Scotia. Guys.
Thank you, Emily. We are in the bottom of the 6th here at the Rogers Center, and a bit of a delay. Lucas Sims has come out of the bullpen, but because it's an injury situation, and again, hopefully nothing serious for Calgary's Michael Soroka, but Sims given as much time as he needs to warm up. You can see the numbers, and obviously relievers in short outings, their numbers can balloon on them if things don't go well, and things have not gone well early on this year out of the bullpen for Sims, and really most of the Washington bullpen as a whole so far.
They have allowed 17 runs, 16 earned runs, and 10 2/3. And their bullpen ERA very, very early is 13.50. That's the worst in the majors, but just a span of first week of the season. That's Jim Hickey, the longtime pitching coach. He's been here since 2021, and on the right of your screen, that's Sean Doolittle, the former reliever. He too is a coach on this staff, and Dave Martinez is in the middle. But it's really interesting. They got a lot of former major leaguers on this coaching staff, and this is the second season for Sean Doolittle as he a pitching strategist for Dave Martinez.
He just retired a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Had a good career. Tough left-handed reliever. So Sims is ready, and he inherits a 1-2 count on Andres Gimenez. On the appeal didn't go. It's 2-2. Gimenez leading off the inning for the Blue Jays. That hit him. Yep. Right ankle maybe. He's smiling, so hopefully not too much damage.
Yeah, this is a slider that breaks down and in. It looked like it caught him on the shin guard. That's fortunate. And he's going to be okay. Just hit him on that right leg. He'll go to first base. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate tonight.
And remember, when he walked to lead off the bottom of the 4th, he stole a base. We'll see if he's thinking about it again. Alejandro Kirk is the batter. There he goes. Kirk is taking all the way, and Jimenez is out. Boy, a very good throw by Ruiz.
Right on the money. As Luis Garcia Jr., the second baseman, just waited for the throw, and they're going to look at it. Interesting.
Get the swim move, get the right arm around, because the ball certainly beat him there.
Yeah, it looked like he was out when we saw it.
Toronto challenging on the second base.
Strong throw by Ruiz. Good quick tag, but his right hand looked like it might have got in around the tag right there before he tagged him in the chest. It's going to be interesting. This is always difficult to overturn the call on the field, but you can see he didn't tag him until he hit him on the thigh.
I think he did it. I think he got it. And you can see Jimenez right away. See that? If we stay with it long enough, a little finger wag. Right away he was saying, no, 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 you didn't get me. They might have a case here.
He takes that left hand away, but then he slides past the bag, but hooks the base with his feet. Laz Diaz is the crew chief. He's at first base tonight. He's waiting on the call from New York.
Crowd is voicing its opinion, not surprisingly.
Which never counts.
Which never counts. And you know what? Our opinion doesn't count either.
Here's another look at it, and watch the right hand extend as he takes the left hand away. I think he's safe.
And he got the left foot on before the right hand came off.
Lots of things going on here.
That angle certainly makes it look like he was safe.
The call stands. The runner's out. Toronto loses their challenge.
The call stands. The runner is out. The Blue Jays lose their challenge. We're not very good at this, you and me.
No, not at all. I would have turned that one over. I would overturn that call. But then again, like I said, we don't count.
So 1 out and a 1-0 count on Kirk. Had an RBI double his last time up. Good fastball from Sims. 2-1. Kirk asking for timeout.
Lucas Sims was a former first-round pick of the Braves back in 2012. He and Soroka were actually on a team together in 2018, just briefly. On that team as well, Kevin Gausman. 2018, he was with the Braves.
Count Kirk's favor, 3-1. Goes after it, pops it back foul, out of play. Sims has been with the Braves, the Reds, the Red Sox, and now this year the Nationals. Terrific first outing by Bowden Francis. Did not allow a hit until the 6th. Gave up back-to-back homers in the 6th, but those are the only 2 runs he allowed as Kirk is retired for out number 2. A lot to like if you're Bowden Francis and Pete Walker.
Yeah, really a good outing first time out, and once again he was throwing strikes, filling up the strike zone, and he did a great job with keeping the ball on the ground. He finishes the night with 10 ground ball outs. A terrific outing. Only blemish, back-to-back home runs in the 6th.
And it's going to be Nick Sandlin coming into the game in the 7th inning for his 3rd appearance of the young season.
It's really important for a manager to start a 3-game series and get a good start from your starter. Pitch at least 6 innings, and it certainly sets up your bullpen for the remainder of this series.
And with regards to the bullpen, the Blue Jays are likely to be without Jeff Hoffman tonight. He has pitched each of the last 2 days, and it's almost automatic in baseball these days that you don't pitch 3 days in a row, certainly not this early in the season. Davis Schneider wants to get in this game. Springer waves at it 1-2.
And Colin Poche is loosening up for the Nationals in their bullpen, and he's ready if needed. He's been thrown for a while.
So Schneider could be asked to pinch hit for one of those left-handed bats down at the bottom of the order. Springer hits it hard off the wall on the fly. He is on his way to second. The throw is offline, and he is in there. He turned on a fastball, and he's got himself a double.
Well, that's the 2nd double of the season, and both of his doubles have been hit hard. He's pulled them to the pull side of the field, and this one was just a couple of feet from going out of the ballpark. Well, he puts a good swing on this fastball. It's down and in at 98, and he turns it around. And he really had a good swing, and he knows it's going to be tough because he hits it so hard it gets to the outfielder in a hurry. But fortunately for Springer, the throw was well offline.
And that is all for Sims. Another pitching change for the Nationals here in the 6th. The season opening homestand continues. Game 5 of 7 for the Blue Jays on this homestand. Split with the Orioles, 2 apiece, and now hoping to take game 1 of the series with the Washington Nationals. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-2 Blue Jays. And left-hander Colin Poche, familiar to the Blue Jays from his time with Tampa Bay.
Now, this is his 3rd appearance of the season. He pitched on opening day against Philadelphia and gave up 3 earned runs, 4 runs in total in just 2/3 of an inning. And they gave 3 more earned runs on Saturday, just 1/3 of an inning. So he's given up 6 earned runs in 1 inning.
Ernie Clement comes off the bench. He will pinch hit for Will Wagner. Ernie had a pinch hit 2-run double on Friday night in a win over Baltimore. And in his career, Buck, 11 for 28, a .393 average as a pinch hitter. And anybody who pinch hits will tell you pinch hitting is hard. It's hard than already being in the game. You're loose, you're warm. It's a little bit different coming off the bench.
Well, that was a tough pitch. That looked like it was down and in off the play, but it's called the strike. Ernie hit a tough pitch for that 2-run double on Friday night. It was a 2-strike breaking ball almost to the top of his shoes.
3-1. Jacob Barnes has now joined Nick Sandlin in the bullpen. Inside corner, 3-2, and there's another pinch hitter on deck. Should the inning continue, Davis Schneider would bat for Nathan Lucas. Lots of stuff going on. Ball 4. Clement doesn't walk often, but he'll take one here and get Schneider to the plate with a couple of men on.
You know, the Blue Jays, they've got quite an interesting roster and a lot of moving parts, and they can complement lefty, righty. They can go back and forth because everybody is pretty versatile. So Wagner gets a start, Lucas gets a start, and now 2 right-handed bats come in at a pivotal point of the game.
Lays off the high fastball, ball 1. Is that the torpedo bat?
It looks like it.
He's the one Blue Jay who has one. I don't know that he's used it in a game yet. He's used it in BP.
It is a torpedo bat. It's got a bulging barrel, if you will, and they have put a little bit more mass in the area of that barrel, and obviously the talk of baseball has been that torpedo bat, which the Yankees have used early in the season.
Just trying to move more of the weight of the bat away from the end into the barrel. Alan Rodin on deck. Davis told me before the game he thinks the story's a bit overblown, but guys are trying it. A couple of Orioles had torpedo bats, and now Davis will take a walk, and Poche didn't like that. The idea is if you hit it on the sweet spot, it's going to go further. Totally legal bat. So back-to-back walks for guys coming off the bench, and now Jim Hickey is out to give Poche some information on Alan Rodin.
And Hickey, longtime pitching coach, had a great run with the Tampa Bay Rays early on. He's been here as a pitching coach since 21. And he's talking to Poche. He said, hey, you got to get ahead, man. You got to be aggressive.
You know, it's interesting. This is the second, maybe the third time where John Schneider's had an option. A couple of left-handed batters. Do I pinch hit for Lucas or do I pinch hit for Rodin? And he's left Rodin in the game, I think, each time.
Yeah, and right now the only option you would have is if you wanted to send Miles Straw up there to pinch hit, but I don't think that's a good time to do it. It's the 6th inning. There's still a lot of baseball left. You got to keep as many options open in the 6th inning.
I asked Rodin before the game today, let's say you're facing a reliever you've never faced. What kind of information do you want in the 20 seconds you've got the hitting coach in the iPad? He said, I want velocity, what his pitches are, where he likes to throw them, what his plan of attack is, like what part of the strike zone I should look at, and what the situation may call for. I said, Alan, that's a lot of information to try to get.
Information. Yep.
And he goes, I guess you're right. But again, everybody has talked about, you know, how mature and poised and intelligent Alan Rodin is. He is an information seeker. He's not a guy who is likely to get overloaded with too much information.
Now in this pivotal at bat, he's seen 3 pitches from Poche.
Pops it up wide of third in foul territory, and DeYoung runs out of room over near the Blue Jay dugout.
Rodin hit his first big league double back in the 3rd inning, hit it into the gap in right center.
Two and two the count here with the bases loaded and 2 down. Outside, a close take there, and the count is full. Blue Jays up 4-2. They are looking to do some damage here. Springer's at third, Clements at second, Schneider at first, and they'll all be running as Alan Roden awaits the pitch. And it's popped up right near second base. In on the infield now. Abrams will make the catch. Poche gets a big out, and this is still a 2-run game. Of the season is complete. 6 innings, just 2 runs allowed.
Yeah, he did a good job in the first inning when he got a big strikeout with a runner at third base, and he uses that split very effectively. It gets Nathaniel Lowe with a good splitter for a called strike 3. Then he gets another splitter to get Paul DeYoung. Fastball goes away. C.J. Abrams, and then he finishes up with another strikeout in the 6th. Jacob Young, the center fielder, went down, and Bowden Francis in line for the win. Now over to the bullpen as Nick Sandlin is the first out of the bullpen tonight for the Blue Jays, making his 3rd appearance.
First one went very well. That was back on opening day. Had a clean inning on Friday in the 2nd game, an inning and a 3rd, and he walked 3, struck out 2, did not give up any runs, but he was really searching for his command. He will face here the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the lineup for Washington. A number of defensive changes. Ernie Clement stays in at 3rd. Davis Schneider stays in left. Roden over to right, and Springer into center. And Luis Garcia Jr. to lead it off for the Nationals. Sandlin with that low arm angle, the splitter that he will throw a lot to lefties. Garcia 0 for 2 and a couple of ground outs. Inside, ball 2. Swing and a miss. 2-0 slider there.
Yeah, he can throw his slider and his split when he's behind. He's got that much confidence in it, and he can throw the slider to lefties and to righties. A big sweeping slider, breaks horizontally an awful lot.
Right back to it.
Yeah, one right back to it. Swing is called by the third base umpire.
Brendan Little's up in the bullpen. Just starting to get loose. Top of the order's got some lefties for the Nationals, but that's a few spots away. This is the number 6 hitter in Garcia that Sandlin is facing, and then 3 righties scheduled after that. Got him. That's the split, and he strikes him out. Let's go to Hazel.
Dan, John Schneider told me that there are plenty of opportunities to use that splitter more to both righties and lefties. He gets a ton of swing and miss on it, he told me, and it's nice to have a guy where you can bring him in any situation. He called him pretty platoon neutral. Come in, put some fires out before turning it over to their high leverage guys. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Kind of Swanson-ish. Eric Swanson with the splitter as well. Swanson on the IL right now, but another guy the Blue Jays have always been very comfortable using against lefties because of the splitter.
Yeah, man, Swanson is down in Florida, and he's starting to stretch it out a little bit. Still hasn't thrown in a game, still hasn't thrown off the mound, but they're throwing long, both he and Ryan Burr. good reports on them today from the skipper.
Yep, got out to 105 feet. Each of them, Dalton Varsho continuing his throwing progression. Has yet to throw in a game, though, in a minor league game. Two 2-0 the count on Paul DeJong, who has struck out and popped up to second. 2-1.
Sandlin gives the Blue Jays something they haven't had for a while down in that bullpen. It's just a different look. He's kind of a side armor. He's got a funky delivery, and he's just one of those guys that really makes you kind of adjust quickly. And there's that good sweeper, man. That breaking ball is a very good slider. He can throw it inside the right-handers, and he can throw it outside the right-handers, but you see the arm angle, the release point is way down low, totally different than everybody else down in that Blue Jays bullpen.
The 2-2.
And that splitter goes in the opposite direction, so now as a hitter you got to worry about covering the entire width of the strike zone. This is something Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for the Nationals, had when he was in Tampa Bay. All kinds of different looks, different angles, lefties, righties, and a lot of different looks down in that bullpen.
Just slow with the splitter. It's 3-2.
And here's where Sandlin has that great slider. He can throw it 3-2 and confident that he can throw it for a strike. At least get a chase.
Fastball.
And with the good fastball, and Kirk liked it. You could see the catcher reacting to the movement of that last pitch.
That's the two-seamer there from Sandlin.
There's a movement, and it's fouled off, and then Kirk acknowledged the good movement after that pitch.
Part of the Andres Jimenez deal between the Blue Jays and Cleveland. And will likely be a 6th, 7th inning guy trying to protect leads. Into center, that's a base hit for DeJong, and Paul DeJong deserves a lot of credit. Sandlin was making some good pitches in that at bat, but ultimately DeJong wins the battle.
Yeah, he got that slider over the plate, and Sandlin's trying to get it away from him, and DeJong did a pretty good job. Hit it off the end of the bat, but gets enough of it to reach base with a single.
Now Dylan Cruz, who is 0 for 2. Just inside, ball 1. Same pitch, but this one finds the zone. Four runs on 6 hits for the Blue Jays, including the Jimenez home run. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Nationals. Home runs for Abrams and Wood. Slider is there. 1-2. There's Sean Doolittle. Buck was talking about him. Really good career as a tough left-handed reliever. He looked like an incredibly uncomfortable at bat for left-handed batters.
He was good. Pitched for Oakland, pitched for Washington. Had a good career.
Got him to chase on a slider way off the plate. 2 down.
That big sweeper with 2 strikes. It starts over the outside corner, and he gets Cruz to chase it. He just waved at that breaking ball, never really zeroed in on it. You can see how he tried to check. Once he committed, he went too far.
So with 2 down, the number 9 hitter Jacob Young is up, and a walk and a strikeout tonight. Clement a step inside the bag, kind of guarding the line over at third. Guerrero holding on to Young at first, and another slider that a Washington hitter chases way off the outside corner. And a couple of guys up for the Nationals. Eduardo Salazar is the right-hander. Jose Ferrer is the left-hander. And Brendan Little looking on from the Blue Jay pen.
You know, relievers have a sense of responsibility to their partners down in the bullpen, and I'm sure Nick Sandlin's thinking, I got to end this inning right now. I don't want Brendan Little to have to come in this game with 2 men on. So if I get out of this, Little can get a clean inning if he has to start the 8th inning. He'd love to finish this inning right here.
Fastball there, 2-2.
So now Sandlin has the upper hand for sure. He could throw that slider again, or he can go right back down and away with the fastball. Hit that outside corner with a fastball, and you're liable to end this at bat.
Slider down and away, 3-2. Young's going to be running on the pitch. Guerrero still holding him close. There goes the runner, and the pitch is hit in the air to left field. It is playable. Davis Schneider is there, and Nick Sandlin retires the side.
Jays fans, now that the season has started, it's time to secure your Flex Pack. With Flex Packs, you can select the games that work for you, unlock great benefits starting at just 3 games. Pick your favorite theme days, jerseys, or other promotional games and save. Visit BlueJays.com/FlexPacks to build your pack today. Guys?
Thank you, Emily. Game 1 of 3 here between the Blue Jays and the Nationals. It is 4-2 Blue Jays, bottom 7. And another reliever out of the pen for the Nats, right-hander Eduardo Salazar, making his 3rd appearance of the season.
He has pitched twice, both against Phillies. He pitched opening day, pitched a 1/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, a walk, no runs. And then next time out on Saturday, he pitched an inning and 2/3, gave up 2 hits, but nothing more.
26 years of age from Venezuela. He will face Bo Bichette, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Check swing there by Bichette. 2-0.
Salazar throws both fastballs, 2-seamer and a 4-seamer, slider and a changeup. He was acquired on waivers from Seattle in June of 24.
Good inning for Nick Sandlin. Looks like talking sliders there with Chris Bassett. Jams Bichette 2-2. Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander here in the bottom of the 7th. Line to right, but caught by Cruz. 1 down.
Bring the colors of the ballpark to your home with Beauty Tone Paint's Toronto Blue Jays collection. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers. Here's how.
So 1 down in the bottom of the 7th, and now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Guerrero doubled in a run in the 3rd. He is 1 for 3. Slider for a strike. Another slider. This one got a lot of the plate, but Guerrero pops it up for low at first, just in foul territory. 2 down. Vladdy Guerrero bobblehead night tonight. Silver Slugger bobblehead night tonight here at the Rogers Center, as the Blue Jays try to open up this series with a victory. Anthony Santander, the batter. He's 0 for 3.
This is the first time Salazar has pitched against the Blue Jays, but Santander has faced him before. He's the only Blue Jay that has faced Salazar. He is 1 for 2 against him.
Ball and a strike on Santander. He's the DH tonight. Fouled off. 1-2. Couple of games, 3 games in fact, or well, more than that, 5 games are already done today and tonight. Cincinnati, Elly De La Cruz went 4 for 5 with 2 homers and a double and drove in 7. Reds beat the Rangers 14-3. There's ground ball to second, and that's that. 3 up, 3 down. We are through 7. It is still 4-2 Blue Jays as we go now to Jamie and Joe in the Home Hardware studio.
Tuesday, April 15th is Looney Dogs Night at Rogers Center. Enjoy the game and get hot dogs for just $1. The only question is, how many can you eat? I challenge you to come find out. For tickets, visit bluejays.com/promotions.
Emily, thank you. That is tomorrow night in the middle game of this series. Jose Barrios will be on the mound for the Jays. Trevor Williams for the Nationals. Here it is 4-2 Blue Jays going top 8, out hitting the Nats 6-3. And into the game is Brendan Little. He'll be making his 3rd appearance of the season. Worked a 3-up, 3-down inning in yesterday's win and needed only 9 pitches to do it. And has looked very sharp in the spring. Has looked sharp in his first 2 appearances of the regular season. Remember, had the lat cramp that forced him out of the game on Friday, but was fine by Sunday to get back in there, and now is pitching again here on Monday night.
Well, he gets the top of the order. 2 left-handers right out of the chute, and then a switch hitting catcher in Ruiz, and then another lefty and another switch hitter. So it's a good stretch for Little.
Roll to Guerrero. He feeds Little at the bag for the out. A nice play, and I think the 3rd one tonight where Guerrero has fed a pitcher for the out.
Yeah, and Vladdy did a good job of picking that ball. He loves to play defense. Watch how he picks this thing right down low and then makes a terrific throw. He is absolutely great at hitting those pitchers on the run with strong throws. I mean, he puts a lot on that throw, and it leads the pitcher right to the bag. He throws it out in front of him. He does a great job with that throw.
So 1 down here in the 8th inning, and the batter is James Wood. Wood homered his last time up. Hit one out to left field. In there for a strike. Oh, and 2. Again, great movement on that 2-seamer. Left-hander Easton Lucas is up right now. Just summited the big club a couple of days ago. He could be a starter later this week. Could be a long man right now if his services are needed, or if Little's pitch count gets too high. It looks like Lucas would come in. Top 6 in the order for Washington. 4 left-handed hitters and a couple of switch hitters. Lucas, a guy who is stretched out, was expected to be and still may be a starter at Buffalo. He was going to start on Sunday. They got rained out. Then the roster move, he's here, and he might be called upon here this inning. Two. And a ground ball up the middle and past a diving Jimenez into right center. A base hit for Wood.
Wood's had a good game. He's been on base 3 times. He walked in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 3rd, then homered, and now he is singled. And that's a tough pitch. He hits it sharply on the ground and well beyond the reach of Jimenez.
So the tying run comes to the plate. It is Keibert Ruiz. Had a very hot series against the Phillies. 5 for 10 with a couple of homers, but he's 0 for 3 on 3 groundouts here tonight. Boy, he was in swing mode before that ball ever left Little's hand, and that is his reputation. He will chase about as much as anybody.
Yeah, he is 1 for 4 batting as a right-handed hitter so far this season, and that hard cutter inside just overmatched him. He had no chance.
He swung at that one too. That one might have hit him in the belt if he hadn't swung at it. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he's up there hacking. He's got power, obviously. He represents the tying run. Another cutter right inside at 94. That's filthy.
So don't throw him a strike here. You're out in front 0-2, and he's chasing. Bounced in that hard curve for ball 1. It's a curveball, but it's 87 and acts like a hard slider more than a curveball.
It's a hard pitch, and he's got good stuff.
Lined into left, a base hit. And up to second on the play goes Wood.
Take a look at this pitch, and he gets to it. It's 94 up in the zone, and he was in swing mode from the moment he stepped in the batter's box in this inning, and he ends up with a hit. His first hit, he had grounded out 3 times in his previous plate appearances.
Nathaniel Lowe is the batter, the cleanup hitter for the Nationals. Swings over the top of that sinker, 0-1. Jimmy Garcia has just joined Easton Lucas. So Jimmy may be asked to come in and put out a fire here, depending on how things go for Little. 0-2. Then again, Little's always a ground ball away from getting out of it with that sinker. A step off, and Wood back to the bag. There you see the results of that hard two-seam fastball, the ground ball rate best in baseball a year ago. That's the curve, and it's fouled off.
Yeah, Wood did a pretty good job of just getting the barrel on that ball and fouled it off to stay alive. He's got 1 hit against lefties so far in 4 at-bats, and it was a double.
Again, the 0-2, and he got him to chase down and away for out number 2.
Well, that's the 4th strikeout Lowe has had in 5 at-bats against lefties, and this is a wicked pitch. That hard breaking ball down and away, and he wasn't close. Pete Walker has jogged to the mound to talk about this at bat. Josh Bell, a switch hitter, will bat right-handed, of course, against Brendan Little. Bell is over 5 with a strikeout in his limited at bats against lefties so far this season.
A big spot here for Little in the 8th inning, 2 on in a 2-run game.
For his career, just a little bit better as a left-handed batter than a right-handed batter. 262 facing right-handed pitching, 246 facing lefties.
Wood at second, Ruiz at first, and Bell fouls it back 0-1. Second outing in as many days for Little, just 9 pitches yesterday, 16 so far here tonight. Chased it, 0-2.
Most of these Nationals hitters are getting their first look at Brendan Little. First time Josh Bell has faced him.
Tried that hard curve, but he bounced it in for ball 1. Two and two. Two on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count on Josh Bell. And a fly ball in the air down the left field line. Schneider into the corner, and he makes the catch. Deep in the corner for out number 3. Between the Nationals and the Blue Jays, Andres Gimenez, another home run, and Bowden Francis, 6 strong innings, and the Blue Jays up 4-2 going bottom 8.
Yeah, a lot of good things happened in this ball game, especially Bowden Francis' start. He took a no-hitter into the 6th, gave up back-to-back home runs, but that was it. He was good, 90 pitches, and then Nick Sandlin had a good inning of work. And how about him, Andres Gimenez? He's off to a great start to his Blue Jays career. Another home run. He's got 3 home runs, and he picked up his 100th career stolen base here tonight earlier in the ballgame, back in the 4th. He scored 2 runs, and he's done just about everything, and he's played very good defensively as we expected. But so far, we've got a little more offense than I think most people expected from their second baseman.
A 2-run lead going to the bottom of the 8th. Eduardo Salazar is back out for his 2nd inning of work for the Nationals. And he'll start Gimenez with a strike. After Gimenez, Kirk and Springer. Line to left center field. And it's going to get past Wood. It's another extra base hit for Gimenez. His 2nd double of the season.
Well, what a game he has had. He's been on base all 4 times. He has homered, walked, got hit by a pitch, and now he has a double, his 2nd double, as Dan mentioned. And this is a pretty swing. That pitch is away from him, and he just stays on it and drives it up the alley in left field. A huge hit here in a 2-run game, a leadoff double in the 8th. Well, he's swinging it well, swinging with a lot of confidence right now.
And a chance for the Blue Jays to add on if they can execute here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The batter is Kirk, who's pretty good at executing the game plan. At the very least, he wants to advance Gimenez. This is popped up right side and just out of play.
Well, this is the old get him over, get him in situation for Kirk. Yeah, the minimum you want is to advance the runner from 2nd to 3rd, and sure, you'd like to drive him in, but you have to be thinking about the right side of the diamond. John Schneider and his coaches have been emphasizing these little aspects of the game, the subtleties of the game, of taking advantage and adding on to a lead late in the game.
And he is definitely trying to take a shot to right.
Yep, absolutely. But you got to execute. And Kirk's good at that. He doesn't strike out an awful lot. The defense is set up, so if he hits a ground ball to the right side, he might sneak it through the infield.
Couple of strikes on him.
Lots of room over there on the right side of the diamond.
Second baseman Garcia trying to keep Gimenez close. could see him taking a shot at right.
Yeah, you know what? In this situation, you get 2 strikes for yourself. The 3rd strike is for the team. You got to figure out a way to move the runner. Yeah, you're thinking about driving him in the first 2 strikes of an at bat. Once you get 2 strikes, you got to advance him at a minimum.
And he did it. Reaches for it and pokes it into right, a base hit. What an at bat by Alejandro Kirk.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of good things happen when you think about the team first. And that is a base hit, and he deserves a lot of credit for that at bat. He was focused on staying on the ball to the right side, and he's rewarded with a swing on a pitch off the plate away. What an effort by Alejandro. Terrific job. Not only does he move the runner over, he gets himself a base hit.
His 2nd hit of the game. It's 1st and 3rd. Nobody out for George Springer. 1 for 3. Doubled off the left field wall in his last at bat. He pulled a 97.5-mile-an-hour fastball and hit it off the left field wall. I mean, that's a great sign to see him pull a ball, hit a ball that hard to the pull side off of fastball better than 97. And he grounds it through the left side, a base hit. In to score Jimenez. Kirk to second. It's 5-2.
Another RBI for George. That's his 3rd of the season. He drives in Jimenez, who has scored 3 runs. For Springer, 2 hits tonight. That gives him 500 as a Blue Jay. Another milestone in a terrific career for George Springer.
And Dave Martinez is on his way to the mound. A pitching change coming here for the Nationals. Salazar out. Right-hander Brad Lord will be coming in to face Ernie Clements.
Rogers Xfinity. Game-changing internet. Stream, share, and score big with Canada's most reliable internet.
The Blue Jays have added a run here in the bottom of the 8th. They're up 5-2 right now, and right-hander Brad Lord is in. This is just his 2nd major league appearance. He pitched yesterday in Philly, faced 3 batters, single, walk, walk. The batter is Ernie Clement. And a fastball into the knees for a called strike.
Yeah, Lord is 25 years old. He was a draft pick of the Nationals in 2022 out of the University of South Florida in Tampa. Got a pretty good arm, but throws both fastballs. And he jumps ahead.
You can tell maybe when Ernie Clement isn't familiar with a guy, he wants to see some pitches, a little bit too good pitches, but Ernie's usually up there hacking at a fastball, as you see Jimmy Garcia looking on from the left field bullpen. Ernie pokes it into center field, and that's a base hit. Everybody up 90 feet. Kirk to third and Springer to second.
Well, Ernie does a good job, and John Snyder always talks about Ernie's ability to put the bat on the ball, and that's another good example with a couple of strikes. Watch how he extends. That ball is off the plate outside. It looked like a high changeup, and he stays on it and comes up with a base hit. Boy, a couple of terrific at-bats in this inning. First by Alejandro Kirk, and now by Ernie Clement.
And now Davis Schneider has a chance to break this game open. He walked as a pinch hitter in the 6th. A lot of movement on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Ball 1.
And defensively, look how the Nationals are halfway, and that reflects Kirk's running at third. They don't have to come all the way in.
Caught out at second. And Clement gets doubled off of first base. A soft liner out to second, and they turn it into a double play.
Yeah, and you can see that Garcia looks at second, doesn't expect Clement to be so far off the bag at first, but Ernie misread it. He thought it was going to be over the second baseman's head, and that's a big base running mistake right there. That gives the Nationals 2 quick outs.
And it brings up Alan Roden, who pops it up. And that'll be the inning. It ends in a hurry after the Blue Jays get the 1 run on the Springer base hit. They will take a 5-2 lead to the 9th with Jimmy Garcia coming in. Guys, thank you, and we're back with you tomorrow night for the second game of this series. Blue Jay Central gets it started at 6:30 Eastern Time. It'll be Jose Barrios making his second start of the season. Trevor Williams for Washington. Top 9. Blue Jays got 1 in the bottom of the 8th and now lead 5-2, trying to take the opening game of this series. Jeff Hoffman, unavailable tonight, has pitched each of the last 2 days, so Jimmy Garcia is in looking for a save.
Jimmy has 26 career saves. He had a career high 15 saves back in 2021. All 15 of those saves came while pitching for the Marlins. Last year for the Blue Jays, he had 5 saves.
And they're moving around in the outfield again. Alan Roden's gone back to left. Miles Straw is in center. George Springer's gone back to right. So Roden and Springer both switched and then went back to their original position. And now Straw, an outstanding defender, is between them out in center. This is Luis Garcia Jr., the number 6 hitter in the Washington lineup. Takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. You don't always have your closer available, but if your number 2 guy is Jimmy Garcia, you got to be pretty content with that.
Well, I think too they have Chad Green down there, who had 16 saves and 17 attempts last year, so Pete Walker's pretty confident. He's got multiple guys that can close out games.
And a bouncing ball to second. Big hop for Jimenez. A little bit of a low throw, but Guerrero's got it. 1 down.
And after that throw, Jimenez looked back over to Vlad. He said, "My bad." And Andres is pretty tough on himself. He wants to make sure that he didn't put his teammates in a bad position by making a bad throw.
1 down. Here's Paul DeJong. Strike 1 call. DeJong 1 for 3, had a base hit his last time up. And Garcia's throwing hard and throwing strikes.
Good combination.
Yeah.
Boy, it was a welcome piece of news when the Blue Jays announced they had signed Jimmy Garcia back 2 more years.
Strike 3 call. Makes quick work of DeJong.
And Garcia just rears back and fires that fastball right over the outer part of the plate for a strikeout.
So the Blue Jays are not away from taking this game. Dylan Cruz is the batter. Bowden Francis 6 strong tonight. 2 runs on 2 hits. And offensively, a lot of different people contributing in this game. Andres Jimenez had a homer and a double, scored 3 runs. George Springer a single and a double, drove in a run. Guerrero an RBI double. Alejandro Kirk a couple of hits, including an RBI double. This is a foul ball, and it's 1-2.
Couple of milestones accomplished here tonight as well. Andres Jimenez picked up his 100th career steal in the 4th inning, and George Springer got his 500th career hit as a Blue Jay with that RBI single in the 8th.
One ball, 2 strikes the count. 98, but up and away. Inside, and it's full. As he picks up the save, Bowden Francis gets the win, and the Blue Jays move to 3-2 on the season with a 5-2 victory over the Nationals tonight.
Good start to the series as they pounded out 10 hits, and Andres Jimenez with his 3rd home run of the season. A terrific start for Bowden Francis. He picks up the win, and the Blue Jays got good work out of their bullpen. Nick Sandlin had a good inning. Brendan Little another good inning. Jimmy Garcia closes it out with a big strikeout, picks up his 1st save of the season.
Game 2 tomorrow night. Jose Barrios will be on the mound. You know we've got it for you beginning at 6:30 Eastern time. Right now, it is time for Sportsnet Central. Let's send you back to Ken and Danielle.